I invite everyone to join in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the 136th graduation ceremony for the Lake Mills Area School District. My name is Cale Vogel, and I have the honor and privilege of serving as principal of this building. This year, 110 students have finished their journey with us. 101 of them will walk across the stage in a few minutes to begin their next chapter of their journey. Many of the students in front of me this year will leave their homes soon for 2- or 4-year colleges, work, or the military. Will all of our students who will be entering the military please stand? Please join me in thanking them for their service. I'd also like all the veterans in the crowd to please stand. Thank them for their service. Just have a couple quick comments. Class of 2018, before you go, I do have a few reminders. Remember to say please and thank you. Some of us forget that once in a while. Leave things better than the way you found them. Stay current with events in your community and the world by reading every day. Forgive others and forgive yourself often. You're always being interviewed. Be mindful of what you say, how you dress, and how you treat others. You never know who is watching or listening. Pause before you post. Think, right? Think before you hit whatever button you do on Instagram and all that other stuff. Take advantage of the technology that is at your disposal, right? There's tons, but the best form of communication that I've learned and that has worked is voice to voice or face to face. Take risks, learn how to fail. And remember, complaining alone without a solution is just complaining, or better yet, whining, right? Come with a solution. Be grateful, and when you fail, and you will fail, don't point fingers at whose fault it is. Learn from the failure and focus on you. Take advantage of each day you are given, for life is truly a gift. To the class of 2018, enjoy the journey and make it a great one. Please welcome Ms. Pam Strike, District Administrator for the Lake Mills Area School District.
Good afternoon. As Cale said, I'm Pam Strike. I'm the District Administrator for the Lake Mills Area School District, and it is truly an honor to serve in that role. I was the class of 2018's high school principal for their freshman and sophomore years, as well as one of their principals at Prospect Elementary School. I feel that I know many of these graduates very, very well. The Lake Mills Area School District strategic plan laid out its mission statement as preparing all of today's students for tomorrow's possibilities. At this time, we'd like to honor staff members who would be retiring this year. Ms. Diane McFarland, elementary teacher for 29 years. Also retiring this year will be Mrs. Sandy Zimmerman, food service and custodian for 30 years, and Miss Susie Wares, crossing guard for 20 years. Thanks to all for their service. Most of you have heard me speak many, many times, and I always seem to start the same way. Without even thinking, I say it's an honor serving and preparing all of today's students. As I signed the diplomas for each of these students, each name conjured up a memory. Sadly, I also realized there's some of you that I don't know at all. I was overwhelmed by what an honor it is to serve today's students. I was struck by the obvious: a record number of 4.0 students, award-winning scholars, athletes, musicians, artists, speakers, and leaders, and the number of students who have dedicated themselves to volunteering and helping others. But I was even more moved by the quiet stories of this class. Those who have experienced personal loss and adversity, those who have overcome disabilities and other challenges, those who have struggled for many reasons to walk through these doors each and every day, and whose stories are shared by only a few. Those that all indicators would say they would not be predicted to graduate today. Family, friends, staff, and community members, it is truly an honor to serve today's students. Today's students, these soon-to-be graduates, are bright, inquisitive, talented, hardworking, driven, caring, compassionate, inclusive, worldly, and joyful. They are also resilient, perseverant, and tender. Today's students make all of our futures brighter. Today's students fill me with optimism and hope. I say this with confidence because it's been my honor to serve these students and all of you for their entire school careers in Lake Mills. So to the class of 2018, I am incredibly proud of each one of you for very different reasons. I would look forward with continued optimism that you will share your gifts and talents with the world. And remember, wherever your journey takes you, you can always call Lake Mills home. It's been an honor to be part of that journey. And as always, it's a great day to be an LCAT. I'd like to welcome Brooke Beam and Mackenzy Meschke to the stage.
As the class of 2018, we as a group of students have decided to leave our mark on Lake Mills High School one last time. This year, for our senior class gift, we'll be purchasing several light post banners that will be hung outside the high school parking lot. These banners have the LCAT logo, consist of our school colors, blue and gold, will recognize the class of 2018, and will continue to resemble the pride students take here at Lake Mills High School. These banners will give the school a new look and will be a great way to remember the class of 2018.
For our senior gift, I was given the opportunity to create the light post banners that will be hung around the high school parking lot. Starting from Mackenzy's vision, I created a banner that embodies the LCAT spirit. I chose to include a hexagonal background, which can be seen on this year's assignment notebooks, to further leave our class's mark. Our class of 2018 banners will be the first and last impressions on students and staff, community members, and visitors alike. Our LCAT pride will always be proudly displayed.
Brooke, you make me very nervous walking down those steps. This time I present the seniors of the Lake Mills High School Concert Choir. It is my privilege to introduce Dr. Richard Mason, who is not only president of our school board here in Lake Mills, but he's also a Lake Mills graduate. Here's Dr. Mason.
All right, on behalf of the Lake Mills Board of Education, I welcome all of you to these 2018 commencement exercises. We know without your help out there and support and guidance throughout the long school years that these guys have been in school, they probably wouldn't be sitting in front of us today. So I thank you. The Lake Mills Board of Education works many hours behind the scenes, making this school district the best school district that we can possibly make it. And it's my pleasure at this time to introduce the Board of Education to you. Dr. Don Delaney, and hold your applause to the very end. Dr. Don Delaney, who's the board clerk, Mrs. Rachel Davies Roglitz, the board treasurer. Mr. Robert D'Imperio is not here today. He's got a good excuse. He's seeing his new grandson in Colorado today, so that's acceptable. And then our newest member to the board is Mr. David Radel, who's the director. And finally, you've seen Blaise kind of all over the place here today, but Blaise, I'm going to have you stand up. Blaise Knueppel is our representative, our student representative to the Board of Education, so he comes to all the board meetings. Now you can give him a hand. Again, on behalf of the Board of Education, we'd like to congratulate all of the graduates today for this milestone in their lives. It's just beginning. It's a start, a new start. End of something, beginning of something else. Have a great, fun-filled day today, but always be safe.
Lake Mills High School is proud of the academic accomplishments of all our students, but I would like to introduce you to 11 of our students that have demonstrated exceptional academic achievement. I'm going to announce them. First, our salutatorians this year were Kayli, Buchli, and Blaise Knueppel. We had 9 co-valedictorians. Ben Bollig, Quinn Borkert, Grace Beekle, Isabella Buscemi, Lauren Felder, Noah Hurdle, Colton Klecker, Cale Porter, and Ruby Stevens. Let's give them a round of applause. Now, each of them is going to give us a few words. We put a time limit on this, so it shouldn't be too bad. First, I'd like to introduce Ben Bollig.
Hello, and welcome to 11 speeches you probably don't want to hear. It's okay though, because the strict time limit means we'll only waste about 20 minutes of your time if we follow it. My name is Ben Bollig, and it is my pleasure to introduce you to our generation. What defines our generation, you ask? I'll tell you. We're a generation who works hard and gets told how much harder everything was back when I was a kid. A generation who struggles to comprehend how basic technology sees the capacities of our elders. A generation who attempts to turn on the dome light in the car and wonders why we are scolded for it. Seriously, why? More importantly, we are a woke generation. We understand social issues better than you because we're teenagers and we know everything. So we're here to get down to business, to defeat the Hun, and prepare to offend and annoy our elders by thinking we're smarter than them. Escape. We're evolving forward into a generation eagerly sitting on the edge of our seats, waiting for Ty Bird to drop his next SoundCloud mixtape. We're forging the way for children to no longer use physical toys, but to instead rot our brains with screen time. And now, we're a generation who's ready for Ben to pass the mic. But before I go, I'll leave you with a question. Where are we dropping, boys?
class of 2018 is a generation of determined, intelligent people with a hunger for knowledge, success, and happiness. But we weren't born this way. We've learned these traits and much more by observing the things around us, and as such, we now have the skills we need to continue to change the world. Many people know us as the generation of kids who are addicted to their phones. It's amazing that we now have an unimaginable amount of information at our fingertips via numerous devices. But technology is more than just phones and tablets. Medical advancements have given us a map of the human genome, synthetic organs, as well as those made with human stem cells, prosthetic limbs that are controlled with the mind and have a sense of touch, and targeted therapies for cancer treatment. Other areas of study have certainly advanced as well, with the creation of the Mars Curiosity rover, Large Hadron Collider, and driverless cars. Advances such as these have taught us to always be curious and to push the boundaries of what we know so we may discover something new. We are also a generation of change. Political activism and diversity have become a big part of our world. Generational icons such as Condoleezza Rice, Nancy Pelosi, Sonia Sotomayor, and Barack Obama have been breaking glass ceilings for decades while the public watches. The state elections of 2017 showed advancement in diversity by electing the first Latina, Asian American, African American, and transgender office holders. And let's not forget the landmark Supreme Court decision in June of 2015 that legalized same-sex marriage. Events like these taught us to stand up for what we believe in, to push for universal equality, and challenge unfair norms in our society. The class of 2018 is a generation of firsts and new events, of dreamers and doers, of believers and achievers. The knowledge we've gleaned just from watching the world around us fuels our drive to be the best we can be and bring our world along with us. Thank you. I now invite Salutatorian Blaise Knueppel to the stage.
Those of us speaking today went through high school on a different playing field than many other students because of barriers we've never had to face. I'd like to examine just two examples of how economic advantage or disadvantage correlates to the education system. I have personally never had to worry about having enough food in my household. This may seem like an issue that very few kids have to worry about, but according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, 1 in 5 children in the U.S. live in food-insecure households. If you want to know how that relates to a student's academic success, ask any teacher in this school how hunger affects kids' work in the classroom. A 2013 study done by Dialect for No Kid Hungry found that kids who have regular access to breakfast score 17.5% higher on standardized tests. So although I'm proud when I receive my test scores, can I really compare my achievement to that of a student who may be part of that 20%? Economic advantage is an aspect that helped put all of us speaking before you today. I'm not saying we're all wealthy, but I do believe that those of us speaking never had to worry about where our next meal was coming from. We don't have to work to keep a roof over our heads or help support our family, as many kids do. A large number of students in this nation, and even this school, work because they need it for their survival. That is the difference. This limits their opportunity to be involved in sports, music, clubs, forensics, and any other extracurricular activity. We've been told by our teachers and advisors since our freshman year that having these involvements is the key to our admission for colleges. These reasons, along with a multitude of others, are why it is no coincidence that the top 10 and top 11 of the class are economically advantaged. The consequence of this imbalance is that there are millions of kids whose talents and abilities are never used in society to the extent they could be. Educators across this country can name many examples of students that never excelled to where they could. And yes, sometimes it's because a student has other interests or just plain out doesn't have the work ethic to do so. But it's also hard to deny that factors they have no control over play a huge role. Let me repeat that. Factors they have absolutely no control over play a huge role in their success or failure. I call on my fellow graduates to not be blind to this disparity that exists. As you move on to the next step of your life, carry on with the compassion and always be an advocate for the ones with less opportunity. I'm confident that the class of 2018 will always strive to become better. We will never become complacent for where we are as a society. Congratulations, and always remember, where there is love, there is life. Thank you. I'd like to invite Colton Klecker, Valedictorian, to the stage.
Values, whether they be numerical values like the 102 people in this class, or the value of compassion that your parents taught you when you were a kid. Everyone has them. Our town and this generation are no exception. Though some of them might not be exactly the same, we share many more than one would initially think. There is no doubt that Lake Mills has strong values. Being a small town, Lake Mills has created some values that might not be characteristic of a bigger city like Milwaukee. Being a small town, tradition is one of the biggest values of the community. We like to keep with the old-fashioned ways, such as the farmers market in Commons Park every Wednesday, or the tree lighting ceremony at Christmas time that goes on every year since I can remember, and for generations before me. We are a town that is very traditional, and we are proud of these traditions. One of the best attributes of Lake Mills is a sense of belonging that is felt by everyone. Whether they are longtime residents or newcomers to the community, everyone belongs. The values of this small-town environment have largely influenced the type of people we have become. As a generation, we have also developed our own set of values and morals that we believe in. Ambition. I think I can speak for all of us when I say that we don't like to take the easy way out. When there is a more difficult or challenging way, that's the path we generally choose to take. To go hand in hand with that, our generation is only slightly competitive. This competitive drive is what has driven us to try our best in school and everything else that we do in life. This is the reason that there is 9 valedictorians in this Lake Mills High School class of 2018. The Lake Mills community has influenced our generation's values, and in turn, we share our values with the community. From growing up in Lake Mills, our generation has taken a more traditional take on our values. We prioritize spending quality time with friends and family and celebrating the many traditions that have passed through the generations. We are also honest and eager to learn, while appreciating the personal connections that we create in all that we do. Our generation has come to appreciate efficiency and a sense of community from growing up and going to school in Lake Mills. I am proud of the small-town values that the community of Lake Mills has imparted on my generation, and I know that these values will allow us to remain connected to our roots, even as we step into new and challenging situations of the future. I would now like to invite our next valedictorian, Cal Porter, to the stage.
Today, we are here to celebrate the graduation of the class of 2018, but we wouldn't be here today without the opportunities afforded to us through the public education system. The Lake Mills community has always prided itself on producing great public schools as well as prepared students. One advantage to attending a public school is the opportunity to be exposed to diverse ideas and trains of thought. Everyone can obtain a top-rate education regardless of things like religious ideals, sexual orientation, or economic status. Without an education, history would be forgotten, medicine would not advance, books would seldom be written, and nearly all advancements would be ground to a halt. Without public school, only those who could afford an education would be able to have one. That would create an even larger divide between classes than there already is today. Teachers are the glue that holds our schools together. I've had the honor of growing up in a household with a teacher, so I have had the firsthand experience of seeing the long, tiring hours spent dedicated to the brightening of our future. Today we are here celebrating the accomplishments of our class, but we would not have these accomplishments without our teachers. Every year, our future is molded by the teachers who work tirelessly to ensure our successes. The value of a public education extends far beyond any numerical value that we can calculate in a math class, write about in an English class, or research in a science lab. There are no limits to what we can do from here. That's the beauty of a public education. The entire community takes a small part in the education of our children. My class and I stand here today not only representing ourselves, but the entire Lake Mills community and everyone's hard work that's gotten us to this point in our lives. Next year, we'll be scattered all around the country, but there is one thing we'll share in common: an outstanding public education from Lake Mills High School. Now I'd like to welcome my friend and fellow valedictorian Noah Hurdle to the stage.
Individuality. This term has been ingrained in us since we were kids, playing on the playground at Prospect. We were told to be ourselves and not to care what others think. And while this may sound cliche, and trust me, I know it is, each and every person giving a speech here today has a distinct personality, despite being united under the term valedictorian and salutatorian. But this trait is characteristic of not only us, but our entire class, and furthermore, our entire generation. Each person walking across the stage today has used Lake Mills High School as a catalyst for self-discovery. They have found themselves in a niche where they will thrive, whether that's in a laboratory, behind a desk, on a stage, in front of an easel, beneath the hood of a car, or in a uniform, serving our country. This audacious willingness to do what makes us happy, regardless of the onlookers, is what positions us for a successful future. If we were to draw one lesson from previous generations, it is that conformity does not result in change. The people who fill the textbooks that we poured over the last 12 years of our lives were not those who followed the crowd, but those who dared to go against the status quo. But we've all heard this message before, so why do I stand here reiterating it once again? It's not because we need to hear it again for it to truly sink in. It's because the message already has. All of us are bursting at the seams, on the cusp of making a unique and lasting contribution to this ever-changing world. We will undoubtedly be confronted with strenuous times. But if we just remember those words from elementary school and be ourselves, we'll make it through just fine. And so to conclude, I'd like to share a quote spoken from the mouth of an icon of this generation, a man who has utilized this principle of individuality to find success, Cameron Jabril Thomas, otherwise known as Wiz Khalifa. The most daring thing is to be yourself and do exactly what you want to do. Following this advice is not exactly easy, so I'd like to welcome my friend and fellow valedictorian, Buscemi, to the stand to tell you how.
Don't worry, just be yourself. Everything will be okay as long as you are yourself. Just be yourself. Be yourself. Being yourself is advice that we have all heard hundreds of times. Being an individual in a world of judgment is terrifying and difficult. High school is no exception. It can be a wonderful place, but teenagers can be terrible people sometimes. We're hormonal, we eat too much junk food, and we often speak without thinking. So being your authentic self is terrifying. It's advice that can feel circular and impossible. The intention behind this advice is really valuable. People who aren't afraid to be themselves are powerful and confident. They know what they want and how they can achieve their goals. But if you're like me, I still don't really know who I am. I'm still figuring out what that means. These past 4 years, I've figured a lot of things out. I know I'm a nerd. I know that being a nerd isn't a bad thing. I know that I'm passionate about theater, but I still don't really know who I am. To be honest, I think everyone in this room is still figuring out who they are, which is comforting in a way. I often talk to my parents about this. Hi, Mom and Dad. My dad tells me all the time that he still doesn't know what he wants to be when he grows up. To me, this shows that being yourself is a process. It doesn't happen right away. It takes years. As an 18-year-old, I'm probably not the most qualified person to be dishing out life advice, but I was given a mic and an audience, so here goes nothing. I think instead of telling people to be themselves, we should tell each other to not be afraid. Don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to figure yourself out slowly. Don't be afraid of who you are. Don't be afraid of what other people think. Our class's generation is starting to be more brave, and I challenge each and every one of you to be brave. Thank you. I would like to welcome one of our salutatorians, Kayli Buchli, to the stage.
I am proud to say that the class of 2018 is full of exceptionally driven individuals. Our class has shown that our motivation comes from three main things: our love for what we do, ourselves, and competition. Each and every one of us has a different motivation and a different reason for that motivation. As we have proven to be a very independent class, we have each found motivation through our determination, our fear, and our failures. Our class is very diverse and very involved through athletics, art, music, and clubs. What inspires us to work hard does not come on its own. We must foster it through our desire to succeed and flourish. This leads me to the next area of where our motivation comes from. If we do not have any goals or ambitions, there is no reason for motivation to spontaneously appear. The reason why each one of us is here is because we each have a love for what we do and what we plan to do in the future. Every night studying, every morning getting up early and coming to school, that is all driven by our goals. Finally, competition has been a huge factor that has defined our class as remarkably successful and driven. Competition causes each one of us to exceed our limits and prosper within our society, and it has caused our class in particular to achieve tremendous accomplishments. All of our successes, all of our failures, our setbacks, our triumphs, these are all both the sources and the results of our motivations and inspirations. Having all of these motivations will improve our qualities of life and will further push us to become our true selves in the most rewarding of ways. Thank you. And next is one of our fellow Valedictorians, Grace Beagle.
High school is an experience that since September 2014 has defined me, has defined us all. From the moment we first stepped foot in this very building, each of us has worked to achieve some aim. As we begin our individual endeavors, we can look back and reflect on the countless interactions we've had, the many goals we've reached. Success is a process of working through each step to arrive at the next. It's a task of overcoming uncertainty, and more importantly, concern. When we first arrived at the high school, nervous about fitting in, we made the adjustment by meeting new people. When the challenge of upper level courses materialized, we became aware of our perseverance and diligence. And when we finally began to realize our individual potential, we started to worry about truly leaving a fingerprint here at Lake Mills High School. I can confidently say that we've done just that. As departing seniors, we've made one of the most impactful decisions of our lifetime, choosing our future paths. And as we enter the new realm of possibility, awaiting the time we will finally fulfill our sense of purpose and passion, we will come to realize that we've been here before. Our seemingly small worries as freshmen are those we will have once again, forming new connections, taking rigorous courses, and truly making a mark. As we enter this process a second time, we can't forget our previous unremitting journey to success. Our achievement marks our new beginning, a new direction towards an unwavering dream, a new ambition of which we wish to attain. Today, right now, in this moment, we are taking our next first step. I'd like to invite my friend and fellow valedictorian, Quinn Borkert, to the stage.
Well, today's the day. The moment 102 of us have endured 15 years of education for has finally come. Today is arguably the most important day of our lives so far. And yet, it's impossibly less than that. Everyone here is more than an accumulation of studying. We are not a diploma. We are our passions. We are our talents. We are our beliefs. We are what we love. And the potential of every single person sitting here today does not lie in a GPA, a career, or a college. Your potential is entirely up to you. Everyone defines success in a different way. Some see success in money, in starting a family, in accomplishment. The way I see it, successful people are the ones who make the world a better place. Changing the world is a daunting task, but it doesn't have to be. We all have the capacity to change the world. All of us have different assets and motivations, and all of us can use these for good. In today's world, where countries are torn apart by war, ecosystems are devastated by climate change, and the public is desensitized to school shootings, it can be difficult to be optimistic. However, even and especially in times when it is challenging to see the good in the world, we have to be the good in the world. Our talents are diverse, but we have to use them to be the best versions of ourselves we can be. The best version of ourselves is different in each of us. We will go on to become doctors, mechanics, poets, engineers, and everything in between. In our careers and in our lives, we will have potential to save lives, volunteer, start families, teach each other, and thousands of different ways to make the world just a little bit better. It is what we do with these opportunities that define our worth. As we move on to the next step of our lives, we have to never lose sight of who we are and who we want to become. When we are fearlessly and unapologetically ourselves, we can accomplish anything. And now I would like to welcome fellow Valedictorian Ruby Stevens to the stage.
Today, we end a chapter of our lives and begin anew. Some of us will become freshmen again, while others will climb the career ladder, and some will dedicate themselves to protecting our country. The path we traveled to get here today was different for everyone, but what we all share is that 615 Catlin Drive was a new beginning. After 4 years of high school, we have accumulated countless memories, from homecoming to the state basketball tournament to our senior parade. Reminiscing about our experience, one thing that I have learned is that it has not been purely academic. Throughout high school, our parents, our teachers, and all the wise and experienced people in our lives have taught us lessons that would never be found in a textbook. Yet, these are lessons we would not survive without. You may not remember how to calculate Gibbs free energy, but the way you struggled through it and ultimately learned it, or some, gave you the ability to conquer challenges for the rest of your life. While you may never write a poem again, the ones you analyzed help you express unfamiliar feelings. These may seem small, but over these past 4 years, they have made an impact. Whether you continue your schooling or not, all of us will certainly be continuing our education. I'm not referring to the textbook kind in which you mindlessly memorize the unit circle. I'm talking about learning how to live, from paying rent to making the tough choice between a Frappuccino or a few rolls of toilet paper, but also how to love, be happy, and reach fulfillment. It seems like it's been a lifetime to get here, but this was only about a quarter of our lives. And according to Google, most of us will live to be 79, which means there are at least 1,830,300,000 moments of laughter, tears, and sheer utter happiness coming our way. Today marks the end of everything we have come to know. Everything beyond this moment is unknown and uncharted. Fellow graduates, yesterday we were athletes, artsy intellectuals, music makers, the cool kids, and of course, LCATs. As this chapter in our life concludes, it is also a time that we venture into the real world, eager and ready to remake it.
Now it is time. Graduates are ready to move on to join the ranks of thousands of Lake Mills High School graduates before them to be service to their community and to their country. Board of Education, President Dr. Richard Mason, Ms. Rachel Davies, Dr. Dawn Delaney, Mr. Robert Temperio, and Mr. Dave Radel. District Administrator Mrs. Pam Strike, faculty, parents, family, and friends. I've reviewed the records of these students and found them to be in order. At this time, I recommend that these students be awarded their diplomas.
Felipe de Jesus Arana Alonso. Vincent Samuel Azaro. Brooke St. Clair Beam. Stephanie Elaine Beam. Nina Marie Bjorklund. Jasmine Ray Blaisdell. Benjamin Robert Bollig. Quinn Elise Borkert. Zachariah Roy Rocker. Daniel James Bruce. Thomas Michael Bruning. Kayli Ann Buchli. Grace Madison Beekle. Isabella Rose Buscemi. Olivia Lauren Christ. Mackenzy Lulu Ann Collins. Jade Alexandria Deanne Colton. Matthew Reed Croft. Emma Margaret Davis. Austin Calvin John Daner. Brennan Harper Dolwick. Lydia Marion Downey. Benjamin Lee Dunkelberger. Emma Marie Ebenson. Lauren Claire Felder. Braden Scott Ferry. Isabel Ann Guerrero. Emily Page Fry. Rebecca Lynn Gibson. Anna Caroline Marie Glock. Madison Emma Groff. Jessica Maria Guardado Torres. Thomas Andrew Gums. Isaac John Halata. Noah Stephen Hurdle. Catherine Joan Hoggett. Hayden Jeffrey Iverson. Kendall Allen James. Hannah Marie Johnson. Benjamin John Collada. Daniel Francis Kaufman. Colton Edward Klecker. Nicholas Stephen Klotz. Katie Lynn Klug. Preston Edward Klug. Blaise Jordan Knueppel. Mackenzy Jordan Kataska. Claudia Jo Kotwitz. Reese Lene Kowalski. Corinna Love Kroll. Tristan Donald Lawrence. Bailey Joe Lawson. Olivia Grace Lescaher. Joseph Douglas Link. Ryan Garrett Litteritz. Carson August Malco. Jennifer Navarro Martinez. Roque Guardado Martinez. Lauren Christine McAdow. Jose Nieves Mendez Jr. Mackenzie Nicole Meschke. Annabelle Lee McClavick. Taylor Marie Moker. Sarah Jillian Nelson. Taria Elizabeth Danielle Newell. Patience Marie Olson. Logan James Otto. Nathan Alexander Patton. Myra Pineda. Marcus Raiko Poladicia. Cale Wade Porter. Richard Michael Profrock. Caitlin Alexis Shakrat. Corey Jacob Puttkamer. Jaden Marie Radke. Colton John Ray. Genevieve Naomi Ritter. Brittany Lynn Rockney. Jamin Martin Rukavina, Jr. David Alejandro Sanchez Becerril. Caden Kenneth Shower. Cole Bradley Schmidt. Brittany Nina Schradel. Matthias Jonathan Schuett. Emily Elizabeth Schwer. Ruby Rose Stevens. Ariana Lee Stewart. Jessica Marie Sweezy. Daytona Sky Telke. Gracie Louise Schultz Thomas. Jamie Scott Thorstad. Haley Olivia Topol. Eric Roy Vogelman. Elena Dawn Voigt. Reese James Wagner. Jamie Renee Wallace. Michael H. Wilkie. Mackenzy Ann Windle. Richard Arwin Willeen II. Joshua Jared Woodland. Lana Rashid Abo Aheja.
Next, I invite Senior Class President Ben Bollig to come and lead his classmates in the changing of the tassels. Again, the changing of the tassels signifies the changing of status from student to graduate. Please stand, parents, friends, family, and community members.